Date class. Sir, what is the purpose of this date class? Why we use this date class means this date class, it represents a specific instant in time. So accurate with milliseconds. So it gives the hours, minutes, seconds, right? To represent all these things, we use the date class. So this date class is also available in the util package, and it implements the different interfaces like serializable, clonable, and comparable. These are the three interfaces which are implemented by this uh, date class, right? It also provides the different constructors, right? And these constructors will have the different syntax. So here you have the default constructor and the constructor with parameters. Now I'm going to write all these uh, constructors which are there in this date class. So here you have the date, it's a default constructor. Sir, what this default constructor will do? It creates the date objects which represents the current date only, right? If you want to represent the current date, then you use the default constructor of the date class. And you can also use this date class with the milliseconds. Milliseconds as another parameter, right? It creates a date objects for given milliseconds. Since from January 1st, 1972 till date, it will follow the Greenwich time. So as you know, GMT, this is a Greenwich time that will follow. So it gives the milliseconds since January 1st, 1970, right? And for this date class, you can also pass years, months, and date as a parameter, right? And you can also pass, you have another constructor, right? Date class, year, month, date, hours, minutes, and along with seconds, right? This is the way it has a different constructors. So what are the important methods which we have in the date class? But we have after method. After, so here we give a date, right? So this is the after is a method, it is a boolean type of method, right? It returns true. That in the sense, first it tests if the current date is after the given date or not. If it is after the given date, it returns true, otherwise it returns false, right? So that in the sense, the current date is, let's say, uh, uh, 27 May 2024, right? You are given a date, let's say 28 May 2024, right? The current date is this, your given date is this. So it tests if the current date is after the given date. Current date is after the given date, then it returns true. Otherwise, it returns false. And same way you have before method, right? It also takes the date as a parameter, right? It checks the given date is before the current date or not. If it is before the current date, then it returns true. Otherwise, it returns false. Same way you have compared to, this is also method which is there in the date class, right? So what it will do, it compares the current date with the given date. So if the current date and given date, the current date and the given date, if both are equal, then it returns 0. Otherwise, it returns 1, right? So depends upon the date which you are given and the current date. So if they are equal, it returns 0. Otherwise, it returns 1. If it is returning less than 1, it means that that is before the date. This is how you can use the different methods of this date class. And you can also have this get time. This is a method, and you have one more method like set time. You can also set the time, right? Set time, there it takes the time as a parameter. These are all the different methods of the date class. So I will show you, I'm going to discuss all these examples in your program. I'm going to discuss all these methods in the example program meta. This is an example program for the date class. Here you can see I'm creating the object for the date class. Date sum d1 equal to new date, year, month, and a date, right? If you are not passing anything, that represents the current date, right? Here I'm taking one more date class. date D3 equal to new date. Here I created D1, D2, D3. D1 is something 2000, D2 is current date, D3 is some 2010. Now I'm using the after method. So D3 dot after D1. So what it will check? So whether this D1 is after the D3 or not. If it is after the D3, then it returns true. Otherwise, it returns false. Same I am checking. D3 before D2. So if the D3 is before D2, then it returns true. Otherwise, it returns false. I'm comparing two dates. If they are equal, then it returns true. 0. Otherwise, it returns 1. Right? Then, sir, I want to get the time. Right? So milliseconds from 1st January 1970, right? Get time will give you the time from milliseconds, right? So if you want to set time, you can set the time by passing the milliseconds, right? Then I'm using other method here. After setting the time, what I'm doing, I'm displaying it, right? This is a way of creating object to the date class and using the different methods of the date class, guys, right? If you want, I will execute here. Yeah, you can see here D3 comes after D2. Yes, true. D3 comes before D2. No, that's what it is returning false. We are comparing, they are not equal. That's what return 1. And in milliseconds, this is the date from January 1st, 1970. Before setting date, this is the current date. After setting date, this is the you are passed some milliseconds. That's what it is equivalent to this date, right? This is how you can use your date class in the programming, right? Now we will discuss about the calendar class. Yes. Coming to the calendar class. Sir, what is the difference between the date class and calendar class? This is the most frequent question. Beta, in date class, you are able to display the date accurate with hours, minutes, seconds, and milliseconds and all. Coming to the calendar class, you have an advantage with the calendar class. You can set the time zones. This is not possible in the date class, right? That is only the difference between the date class and the calendar class. So here you have different methods. Basically, this calendar class is an abstract class, right? Which provides us to methods to convert the date between the specific instant time, and you can set month, year, hour, right? It inherits the object class basically, right? This also implements the clonable interface, serializable interface, and comparable interface. It is a abstract class. We cannot create an constructor to uh, object for this class, right? That's what always we use the static method to create an object to the calendar class. So here, what I'm doing, I'm creating object to the calendar class by using this get instance method. Now this C acts as a object to this calendar class. By using this, you can get the time by using get time method, which is used to retrieve the current time, right? Sir, date is the constant here. So I want to go 15 days back. So that's what minus 15 in the sense it will take you to 15 days back from the current date. So C is the object of calendar class. C dot date means date is the constant, right? It takes the present date, right? From present date, you are going 15 days back and you are displaying it again, right? Sir, I want to add 4 months, right? Month is the constant, right? So you are saying C dot month, that is the current month, May. Then comma 4 means you are adding 4 months to the calendar class. C dot add of the current month, that is May plus 4 it means. So May means June, July, August, you go to September. That current time and date will be displayed after 4 months. Then C dot year, that is the current year, it will retrieve and you are adding plus 2 years. After 2 years, 2 years later, you are displaying the date, right? Date, month, year. This is how you can use a calendar class. And you can set the time zones, calendar dot get instance of time zone. So here calendar is the predefined class, right? So calendar dot, you can call the method that is get instance of. Here you can set the time zone, and you can also call the local that represents a local time, right? This is how you can use different methods to get the date, time, year, after 2 months, before 15 days, after 2 years, and different time zones and local time, right? This is all about your calendar class, guys. Chalo. In the next session, we are going to cover the streams. What is stream? What is input stream, output stream, and how to handle these files using the stream and byte stream, character stream. These are all the things we are going to cover in the next session. Thank you, guys.